the term Power 5 is about to come back. Bank on it, because the Pac-12 finally got their heads somewhere out of, and moving. Tell us about the Pac-12 and what's changing and why they will or will not be relevant.
Yeah, so the Pac-12 is going to survive, everybody, shockingly enough. They have now reached out and confirmed that 4 Mountain West schools are going to join them in 2026-27. Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State. Now, for those who don't know, this year the Pac-12 has had just Oregon State and Washington State. That's it. And Oregon State and Washington State entered some sort of agreement to play a Mountain West schedule with Mountain West teams. Kind of like how Notre Dame's not in the ACC, but they have their ACC affiliates in football, so they play an ACC schedule. That's what they've been doing with Oregon State and Washington State. Now they're actually getting a new conference going because Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State are all joining. And guys, I mean, just to be fair, we're talking about San Diego State's a sleeping giant in college football because of where they are in Southern California. Fresno State has had good success in the past with Pat Hill. We all know Boise State is the class of, like, the model for a mid-major on what to do to build a program. And Colorado State actually has a pretty big market. So these are not bad additions for the Pac-12.
Here's why this bothers me, because bank on it, they are going to get an automatic bid for that conference, and it is going to take a better SEC team out of the college football playoff. Bank on it. Brought to you by Commercial Bank.
Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank. What makes us different from other banks? We understand that every customer has unique opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. We don't expect you to fit into the same box as the next person or business. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning for your next vacation, we're with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions. Commercial Bank. Life made better.
Caleb, do they get an automatic bid? Do they deserve one?
Well, to be fair, there are no auto bids right now in the playoff, technically. It's effectively because the top 4 conferences are SEC, Big Ten, and then ACC and Big 12. Effectively, those 4 will all get auto bids because the top 5 conference champions will go. No, they're not going to get. No. This isn't really going to effectively give them an auto bid. And the reason it's not going to effectively get them an auto bid is because.
Wait, why are you saying you're saying there's not an auto bid? But if you win the SEC,
it's effective. It's an effective auto bid because the SEC champion is never not going to be one of the top 5 conference champions.
Well, I know, but okay, but just for instance, the group of 5 rose out of nowhere and had 15 fantastic teams. I mean, Caleb, that it doesn't matter. I mean, they're going to pick an SEC team. So whether that's an auto bid or however we phrase it.
Well, that's why I said it's an effective auto bid. I agreed with you on that. It's an effective auto bid.
I would make this argument. The MAC deserves an automatic bid every bit as much as those teams you listed off to me in the Pac-12.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So as things stand now, when 2026 rolls around, there will still just be 5 auto bids to the college football playoff, the top 5 conference champions. I don't think this Pac-12 unit is a guarantee to have one of the top 5 conference champions. So this is where the auto bid thing comes in. The SEC, the Big 12, the Big 10, and the ACC. You and I both agree those 4 will always, their conference champion will always be among the top 4 conference champions, right? 100% of the time, every single year.
Yes.
For it to be, for this new unit to get an auto bid, you would have to tell me that you think that their champion will be always the 5th best conference champion. So, or you have to tell me you think they're going to expand to 6 conference champions instead of 5. And so you think they're going to expand to 6 to make room for this new Pac-12?
I feel like I don't know who's completely in charge, but if this was formerly the guys that were in charge of the NCAA, then absolutely, I think so. I don't know who's really in charge. It gets the college football playoff committee, but I can tell you that it's going to be based off of television markets. So they're going to give automatic bids to anybody that can say, hey, we represent 3 of the top 25 television markets or 6 of the top 50 or something like that. So that's what I think it's going to be based on. So, where those teams are. I think they want to win the West Coast. And I think the Pac-12 was pushed to do this. And I think they were helped along to do this and raid another conference by the powers that be, because I believe that college football believes firmly that they can be as big as the NFL. Now, that may be silly, because if you actually do the numbers, NFL television ratings, Caleb, you could speak to this as well as I can. The Cowboys do as well in Knoxville, the Dallas Cowboys, as Tennessee sometimes. So the NFL is that big. I think they're pushing that to happen, and they want to make sure they have the entire country locked up. I think that's what this is about.
That's not a crazy thought.
Because right now, I've been to Cali several times. I love going out there. And, part of the reason, because football is my life, and I get away from football for a little bit. And I just, nobody thinks about football out there. And I think they had approximately 38 people show up to the Rams Super Bowl celebration. So I think they're trying to push a boulder uphill, Caleb. But does this conference just based off of its television market, warrant an automatic bid into the college football playoff?
What you're saying makes a lot of sense now, because they already had this, gets them the San Diego market, this gets them Colorado's market, and I think they're not going to be done. But Dave, I think you're onto something. But I'll tell you, the SEC shouldn't be upset about that. You know who's going to get really screwed out of this?
I'm interested.
The rest of the group of five. Because that fifth conference champion will always be from the Pac-12. You know that they left room over for that one group of five conference champion to get in, to be the best of them, like the Northern Illinois or the Memphis. What you're saying is those teams might as well pack up and go home, because they're always going to give it to the Pac-12 for that fifth spot, that new Pac-12.
Exactly. And what happens with the MAC? The MAC's a very underrated conference. I mean, what happens at some point if they say, hey, look at our football? Do you want to be in Cincinnati? Do you want to be in some other big markets? That's what I don't want. I don't want this playoff to be just based on automatic bids. I just want the top 12 teams. I don't care if it's whoever. I mean, I don't care if it's who are some teams that have made runs recently that we didn't know about before the season.
I mean, TCU 2 years ago.
TCU, and what's the team in Ohio?
I mean, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati made a run. I mean, listen, if they're 6, they deserve to be 6, but they don't deserve to get in just because they won their conference, and they don't deserve to be left out because there's so many automatic bids going to other, air quotes, power conferences.
Well, that wouldn't the first one would be the case, because this is where I break with you. And this is where we're always going to disagree. I don't just want the blind 12 best teams, because I think the auto bids actually, if you just take the blind 12 best teams, Dave, you've rendered the regular season as irrelevant as you possibly could. And here's why you've done that. The 1 versus 3 matchups, the 2 versus 4 matchups, no one's going to care about those games because they're both going to the playoff. So you might as well just not watch them. And on top of that, all these other exciting, like lower tier matchups, no one's going to care about either, because they know they'll have no shot at the playoff because they're not one of the 12 best teams. You're trying to do everything to make the playoff as exciting as possible. And I'm sorry, that makes the regular season complete garbage.
Okay,
I mean, the NFL regular season is a joke.
I think there's a happy medium here. Now, would you agree that 12 teams, the way it currently is a happy medium between me that's trying to push the playoffs and you that's trying to keep the regular season? Is that a happy medium, or is that too much for you?
I think it's too much. No, if you wanted to keep the regular season, with 12 teams without auto bids is way too much. If you want no auto bids, I want the top 6 teams. Top 6. If you're going to do no auto bids, I only want the top 6.
Okay. I think you could incentivize the 12 teams just as easily, Caleb, with home field advantage, with a bye week, and you could still have 12. And then we're back to the realistic conversation, because everybody comes up to me on Monday and they're like, did you see where Tennessee was ranked? Yeah. But did you know they're better than 7 or 9? I mean, those numbers to me, it would create, I believe, a college football. I mean, it was so wild the first week when it came out on a Monday, because you might have Kent State beat St. Francis. And for some reason, the Formula formulaic formula says that you're in the top 20. Oh, well, yeah, that'd be interesting. Okay, but that's going to shake itself out. So then you have a number to really talk about. Guys, am I onto something here? Hit the like and subscribe button, because right now I do not see any reason to stop what I'm doing when the AP and coaches poll come out on Sunday.
Well, no, but no one stops what they're doing with. I agree, but that's been the case ever since the college football playoff began. And so it's if you didn't like that, you should have never wanted this playoff to begin with. You're looking at someone who didn't. You're looking at someone who said that it would devalue everything else about college football, including the bowl system, which is why you have bowl opt-outs now, which you never heard of 10 years ago. You never heard of the phrase meaningless bowl game 10 years ago. And also, when number 1 Alabama faces number 2 LSU, why should I watch that game? They're both going to the playoff. So that's my pushback on it. Now, as far as auto bids, Dave, with what you're talking, here's my honest truth. And this is what I'm dead serious about. And I'm dead serious about this. If you want to get rid of auto bids, that's fine with me. If you get rid of conferences too. And I want
I'm on board with that. I want like a 32 team super conference. I want I don't want any more Kent State.
So you want the SEC dead? You want no more SEC?
Well, you could divide it up.
You can divide it up with the way the SEC is now. No.
Trim the fat, as they said in Horrible Bosses. And I'm not talking about the fat people. I'm talking about Vanderbilt.
You can't. That's not going to happen. Vanderbilt's a charter member of the SEC. The SEC
South Carolina. Take a team. I mean, there are teams at Mississippi State. There are teams that are not going to be able to compete for a national championship that are in the SEC, that are in the Big Ten, that are in the Big 12, and now are in this Pac-12 thing. There are those teams out there. Trim the fat. What if this weekend you had 32 teams and it was Tennessee in the SEC division versus Ohio State or Penn State in the Big Ten division?
Here's what would happen, what you're talking about. And I'll tell you this dead seriously. College football would cease to be relevant in 25 years if you did that.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, here's why. I'll tell you exactly why. You would be creating a minor leagues for the NFL if you did that. You'd basically be creating like what you're going to see in the NFL. You're just seeing them all in college for that.
You already have that. We talked to Rusty Wright with the mocks, and he said that it's the group of 5 teams. The group of 5 is AA football.
But wait, Dave, but this is my point. Okay. Yes, you already have that, but you know what? Those group of 5 teams have something to play for, so fans would watch. Fans do watch you ever watch the group of 5 game late at night? Fans are at those games, by the way. They're enjoying the games. I'm telling you, if you do what you're saying, nobody would ever watch those group of 5 games again. You kill all group of 5 football programs. You'd say, fine, let them go, let them die. Let's just talk about these 32 teams. Then you just have these 32 teams. And then who would watch? Who would watch when they're saying, and here's what would happen. Then the future would happen. And people would say, well, we're just watching the future NFL players anyway. Why do we even have college football? Let's just let them go straight to the NFL out of high school. And then they're going straight to the NFL out of high school.
No. You have an intrinsic rule against that, and that is the human body can't do it. I have only seen 6 players that I thought could go straight to the NFL maybe in my lifetime. Carl Lawson would have been one, and he was actually second rated to Robert Kimdiche, if you remember, because he was more filled out. Randy Moss would have been another one. I mean, I just haven't. There haven't
Eric
been.
Berry could have gone. Eric Berry could have gone as a freshman. I feel like.
I don't think he would need to put on weight, but he should be in the conversation.